to talk about going into group play and the importance of these sort of games. Just expand on that format of the season.
So playing St. Louis, it's the first opponent in this new schedule that is in our division, and these games, because of the aspect of only the top two that advance, these are like 6-point games. So when, especially coming off of Sunday where we don't have the kind of result that we want, both teams, having lost on the weekend, are coming into a position playing their first divisional opponent, and this game has added importance because of that. Neither one of us can afford to fall even further behind. In particular for us, that this is a home game puts that much more emphasis on the fact that we get 3 points in this one.
What did you learn about your team last week? Obviously, you didn't really, at the end of the day, you don't know until they're out there. What are some of the pluses and some of the things you need to improve on?
You know, it was a disappointing performance for us, and what we took away from it is that we can't play with fear. You know, we were tight, we were nervous, and that showed. And we didn't really, you know, Pittsburgh presented us with problems, and we didn't go through the normal things that we do to solve those problems. In fact, we kind of kept playing to a plan that didn't really do anything to negate Pittsburgh, and that put us in trouble. I'll give you a story from yesterday. Liverpool just won the Premier League, and the best center back in the world, Virgil van Dijk, made almost the exact same mistake that Jimmy made on the third goal against Pittsburgh. So it can happen to everybody, is my point. But for us, we need to learn that we can't play stiff. We can't play with fear. We need to trust ourselves, do what we do. We do it every single day against each other. We've proven that we do it against our opponents for the last 5 years plus. We just have to make sure that we are, you know, confident and trust each other and believe that we can go out and do that at Lynn Family Stadium, and certainly that whole moment got the best of us.
Can happen a short turnaround like this, a 6-day turnaround? Could that be a good thing for you to really put that behind you and get back out there and do it?
Yeah, absolutely. This is a group that's always had a good response when we do have a setback, and that's the expectation for us. For our club in general, it's not acceptable to have that kind of performance at home, no matter what the circumstances are. So we're very anxious about, you know, setting this right and showing our fans now that we are a much better team than what we showed this last Sunday.
How do you, it's one thing to do it here, it's another thing to do it under the lights. How do you do that in practice? How do you get those guys, get their heads right, for lack of an expression?
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes less is more, and we offer a lot of ideas on tactics, and that's really where I think our team got a little bogged down. They were thinking too much and not playing enough. So we've decided this week to go a little less on the ideas, try to give them a little more freedom to get back to just basics. You know, we have a philosophy on our style of play, and I want the players to play without our coaching staff in their head. I want them to feel free to make the decisions in their own reads, and that's been our tactic this week. We hope that'll translate into a much better performance on Saturday.
Is there a sense like, okay, we've gotten that first game out of the way, wasn't the result we wanted, but at least you got it out of the way, you know what to expect going in next time?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more just anxiousness to go back out and right a wrong, because we really feel that we didn't represent ourselves in the right way, and that's the most frustrating part. I mean, we pride ourselves on a team that, you know, fights till the very end. We don't think we showed that. We don't think we showed so many aspects of what we really do well wasn't on display. You have to give Pittsburgh a huge amount of credit in that regard. You know, there's lots of little mitigating factors. That game was stop and start. You know, there was an injury every 2 minutes. We never were able to get into our rhythm, but we get to control that if we put the game on our terms, and we didn't have it on our terms. We put it on our opponent's terms by giving up that second goal early in the second half.
What do you tell your defense? I mean, it struggled at times, and It's only one game, it's only one match, but I mean, obviously they've got that in their heads and all that. And how do you sort of move them away from that?
You know, the irony to that is that it wasn't on the defensive end that we really had the problems. It was when we had the ball that we gave our opponents opportunities to attack us in the worst possible space. You know, it's like a fumble on the 2-yard line. You do not do that. It's bad tactics. But it's just a style that, we believe in, that you watch other teams and they won't even try to play out of the back. We try to play out of the back. We do it so that we bring the opposition to us, create space to play in behind them. And that's just a different tactic, and sometimes you leave yourself very vulnerable. What I would say to our guys are, we're not going to change. Like, that's part of who we are. That's part of what we do. We believe every one of these guys is a very talented football player. They are required to make decisions. All of them must be, able to constantly go through their looks and execute a decision. That's something that we're going to be bullish about. At the same time, we can't continue to make those kind of mistakes.
So, Coach was just talking about the defensive issues that you guys had the other day, saying it wasn't really defense, it was when you were trying to play out of the back and maybe turn the ball over as a unit. What has sort of been the concentration this week, or as you guys deal with the short turnaround, what have you focused on?
I think the biggest thing for us was review the game with the details and see what we did wrong and what was not right and how to correct that, and always like having that problem solving mindset instead of there is no like one way to do it. It's always the game is so changing with different movements, so it's always like a problem solving idea, and so it's just being comfortable with it and moving forward with it.
When you go through something like the first game and the match didn't go so well, having a short week, does that help you get sort of back in the saddle again right away? I mean, how hard a week has it been for you guys emotionally, physically, and how you can imagine Saturday?
I mean, this is something we're not comfortable with. This is something we don't like. Obviously, we don't like losing games. We're a championship team, and we are so used to win games that when we don't lose game, we figure out what went wrong. So that was the biggest thing. But now the game is behind us, and now we are just looking forward for the next game and making sure we do the right things.
This game is huge for you all because it's the game that's in your pod. How much emphasis do you put on that for you pay attention to all that?
I mean, we treat each game the same way. We just want to win every game, so there's no game bigger than the other. Each game is a big game for us, so we treat them the same way.
Coach was saying he thought there was a little bit of nerves this Sunday, opening the new stadium, hadn't played in so long. Do you think that played into it?
I mean, there was a lot of things outside that just the game. Opening a new stadium, opening the new season. There was a lot of things outside the game, but we are professionals, so our job is to make sure we do the right things on the field and we don't worry about the things outside, but we just focus on the game. It's our mission to just focusing within the game, and the objective is to win it.
What do you think about the group format and just the idea of having to play St. Louis 4 times in about 2 months? Is that something you like or don't like?
Well, I mean, it's not the best schedule we could look for, but we are very thankful to have a season, like we were stuck at home for 2 months, not doing the things that we love to do, so we're just thankful to be back and like train and play games and be at this amazing stadium. So we don't look past that, we look past that and we just focus on just having fun and win every game.